How to score well in IELTS General Writing Task 1. Welcome back, guys. This video focuses on a method that you can use to score well in the Task 1 of IELTS General Writing module, plus some common mistakes that are made by students and some tips that you can use to improve your writing. These are a few of my students who went for the IELTS and PT exams recently. As you can see, they scored well thanks to a combined team effort of the teacher and the student. If you wish to become one of these high achievers, contact me on my email for one-on-one Skype classes. I assure you we will do whatever it takes to get you the scores you need and deserve. Getting back to the IELTS writing, guys, the task 1 of IELTS General is simply a letter. For the writing section of the IELTS exam, you'll have a total of 1 hour. So you can divide it whichever way you like between task 1 and task 2. What people normally like to do is they usually give 20 minutes to task 1 and then 40 minutes to task 2, which is fine by me. As long as you can attempt the letter properly in 20 minutes, that's fine by me. But technically, if you are clear with the concepts, if you know what to do, then it should not take you anywhere near 20 minutes. It's no more than 10 minutes of a task if you know what you are doing. So follow through, keep an eye on the method and practice. That's the key, guys, here. Practice. This is the way you will get your timings down to 10 minutes and even under 10 minutes in some cases. So bear with me. In the letter, the question might be of three different types: formal, semi-formal, and informal. So in the formal and semi-formal, you could be writing to people you do not know. You could be writing to the manager of your company, to somebody in a higher position probably than you. And in the informal one, you could be writing to your friend, to your relative, or something of that sort. Not really that important. It's just the kind of letter you get. The tone of your letter is depending on the question. So that's really all. You don't have to remember any of this. This is just to give you an overview. Now, in the letter, you will get a scenario as a subject and you need to write about that scenario. The scoring of task 1 is based on 4 parameters, where the first one is task achievement, which is simply covering all the points, how well you explain the details in your letter, the question they are asking you, how well you cover those points. Number 2 is coherence and cohesion. The word I like to use to explain to my students is simply structure. So how well you connect your lines and paragraphs to each other. Number 3 is the lexical resource. So the kind of expressions you use, the amount of vocabulary you use, that is what is included in the lexical resource. And number 4 is grammar range and accuracy. So the range of grammar you use and the amount of accuracy involved in it. So these are the 4 things that they would be looking at while giving you the score in IELTS writing task. Now guys, you don't have to remember any of this. This is just to give you an overview. Now I'm going to attempt a topic where I will show you the method that I use. And then looking at that method, you don't really have to remember this. As long as you practice the method, all of these points will be automatically included in your answer. So bear with me while I show you what I do. This is a topic that I picked off the internet, so I'm going to write down this topic in front of you. Then I'll explain it line by line of what I did over here. So bear with me. Okay guys, so I'm back with the answer. Let me explain to you what I did. I started the letter with Dear John. Now, I started with the name because this is an informal letter. I'm writing to my next door neighbor. This is somebody that I know. Now, this would be Dear Mr. John in case this was a semi formal letter to a person that I do not really know in person. Or it could be Respected Sir, Respected Madam, or something in that lines if this was a formal letter, writing to the manager of your company, writing to somebody in the higher rank. So that would be a formal letter. Semi-formal, Dear Mr. John, Mrs. whatever, and then in case of an informal letter, you could start with the name. Following that, the very first paragraph is called the introduction. In this introduction, guys, you will simply introduce the topic. So let me explain it to you. I'm writing this letter in regards to the problems I'm facing due to your late night band practice sessions. The very first line of your letter should describe what the letter is about. Why are you writing this letter? The purpose of the letter should be stated in the very first line. So this is how you start your letter. Start with the purpose. Next, being well aware of the fact that you are drumming for a famous band, I understand that you need to rehearse in order to hone your craft and come up with new tones to appeal the audience. Now, guys, this is not exactly a part of the question. This is simply an expansion of this bit. Now, the reason I'm highlighting this is because people do not choose their ideas well. I'll mention this in the common mistakes as well, but the ideas you choose will determine the quality of content that you can write. In the question, they said that the neighbor likes to play music late at night. You could have simply started your letter saying, I'm writing this letter in regards to the problem I have due to you playing music late at night. But think of it in this way. How good of a content, how much quality can you provide in a content which simply states playing music late at night? Now compare it with this, and as you will read the letter, you will understand that the late night band practice sessions, I chose this topic because I can expand on it. There is much more that you can write on band practice sessions compared to playing music late at night. So keep this in mind. Choose your ideas well. I'll cover this in common mistakes again, but very important. Choose good ideas because you can expand and write quality content on them. So on the next line, I simply expanded on this bit, late night band practice sessions. And the last one, although I like your music just as much as your fans, these late night rehearsals are causing me serious problems which need immediate attention. In the last line, I said what the rest of the letter is going to be about. So although I like the music, these late night rehearsals are causing me serious problems. This line explains what is it that is following this paragraph. Okay, so the paragraphs following the introduction, the ones that you see over here, these will depend on the kind of questions you get. So in this case, they are asking you to describe the situation, explain the problem, and offer at least one solution. So in these paragraphs, this is what you will be doing. Describing the situation, explaining the problem, and offering solutions. So as I work at a hospital, my typical shift starts early in the morning and ends at about 10 p.m. Being already exhausted, I have to come back home and look after my newborn baby, which in itself is a struggle at this stage. Now, guys, this is where I am describing the situation. What is the background? What is it exactly that's happening? And then, due to your late night rehearsals, I cannot get the desperately needed sleep to perform well at work the following day. Additionally, the newborn suffers too as she is not getting the rest necessary for her physical and mental development. To sum it up in a few words, this is a havoc in the home that I have to deal with every day. So, this is where I describe the situation and I explain the problem it is causing me. So, start with some background. Now, this will depend on the kind of question you get. Start with some background and explain it. So I describe the situation and I explain the problem it is causing me. And the paragraph following that naturally would be the solutions. Understanding that you simply cannot call it quits in terms of practicing, please consider rehearsing some other time, preferably during the day, as it will not hamper with the sleep schedule. Knowing that this may not work for all the members of your band, you can try practicing at other venues specifically designed to serve this purpose. So this is where I suggest my solutions. Guys, simply introduce the topic, then follow what the question is trying to say. In this case, it is describing the situation, explaining the problem, and offering solutions. And following that, this is where I close my letter. Please resolve this issue. Excuse me. Please resolve this issue as soon as possible. Your cooperation would be highly appreciated. In case this letter goes unnoticed, I would have no other option left but to get the authorities involved. Looking forward to your response. Yours truly, ABC. Just to give you an overview of what we are doing over here. Start with a greeting depending on the kind of question. So if it's a formal, semi-formal, informal, keep that in mind. That's the way you will start your letter. Then introduce the topic. What is it that you're exactly writing about? Then simply follow the questions. In this case, I describe the situation in this paragraph and I explain the problem it is causing me. Then I suggested the solutions, and then you get the closing to your letter. So a very simple concept, a very simple method, but guys, keep this in mind that you will not get the hang of it in one single night, in one single attempt, or in one single practice. So you have to keep at it. I'll mention how you can improve your writing in the tips section as well, but practicing is really the key. The more you write, the better you will get at it. Okay. So to give you an overview, in the method, it is simply first paragraph, which is introducing the topic, mentioning what is it that is a letter about, and the following paragraphs will simply be expanding on the questions. So what is it that you're writing about? This is a very simple concept, guys. It cannot be called a method. It is simply a concept that you have to understand and apply and practice. This is the key. Practice, practice, practice. Write as much as you can. This is the only way to improve your writing skills. Okay? Introduce the topic. First of all, greet. Introduce the topic. Then just follow the questions. Follow what they are asking you and expand on that. That is simply how you write a letter. Okay? Have a look through the letter. Read the question carefully, have a look through the letter, and then understand the concept that is applied over here. Moving on to the common mistakes. The very first one is simply handwriting. Most of my students make the mistake that they do not use clear handwriting. Remember, I said clear, not flashy. You don't have to write beautiful words, you simply have to write clearly so the examiner can easily read and understand it. Guys, these people are busy. They do not have enough time to understand each and every single one of your words. If it is not written correctly, they will simply skip over it and you will lose scores. So use clear handwriting. It does not have to be flashy, but it has to be clear enough to read. Second one that I see very commonly is the ideas. Guys, again, as I mentioned in the letter that I wrote, the kind of ideas you choose to write your letter, or as a matter of fact the essay as well, the writing task too, that will determine the quality of content you're going to write. So whenever you get a topic, spend some time thinking about what you can choose as the main idea of the letter or the writing task too. In this case, I went with late night band practice sessions because, as I mentioned earlier, I can expand on this. So I can mention something, I can talk about it. This is the reason I chose this topic. Very, very important. Choose the ideas you can expand on. Do not simply say, neighbor likes to play music late at night, I have a problem with it, do whatever you can. This will not bring out the quality content. So choose your ideas very carefully. You have to remember your target is to write appealing content. At the end of the day, the examiner is also a human being. If they like what they are reading, they will give you a good score. It is likely that they will give you a better score than the other people. So choose better content, write something that is appealing. Number 3 is the grammar range. Most of my students do not use a range of grammar. What I mean by that is they will write the whole letter, or even as a matter of fact, the whole writing task too, in one form, in one tense, in simply one direction. They will not use a range of grammar. So you remember, guys, you have to use different types of sentences, not just different vocabulary. The sentence type has to be different from each other as well. So you have to really represent the level of language that you possess. And this will only come if you have developed a good level of language. Remember, you have to use a range of grammar, different types of sentences. The number 4 is spelling and punctuation. Incorrect spelling and punctuation at the wrong places can cause you a loss of marks as well. So keep this in mind. After you write your letter, and even if you go back in the video and have a look at the essay, I stopped for a while and I looked at my essay. I had a read through it so I can correct the minor mistakes. This is the way you can counter the spelling and punctuation part. Just spend some time looking at your answers. This is the way you can find out the very small minor mistakes, but they could end up costing you a big amount of marks. The last one that I see is repetition. So students will repeat the same words, the same language. Again, this is a part of the grammar range as well. They will simply repeat the same sort of lines. Again, use a range of grammar and do not repeat the same words. Use a range of vocabulary, a range of grammar, and pick good ideas. This is the way you can write a good answer. Okay. Moving on to the tips, guys. The first one that I would recommend is get your answers checked by a teacher. Now guys, even if you have been practicing for your IELTS exam for quite a long time without somebody's supervision, then there is a good amount of chance that you are practicing in the wrong direction. Remember, if you practice something wrong, you'll simply get there fast. Simply practicing does not mean that you'll be perfect at it. You might get perfect at the wrong thing. So get your answers checked by a teacher. This is a part where I can help you guys as well. In the comment section, write out the question and then type your answer. That way I can compare what is it that you had to write about and what is it that you are writing about. And I can give you an analysis of what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Number 2 is read and practice. Guys, there's one website that I would like to recommend at this stage. It is IELTSexam.net. Go on this website and look for writing task 1 and writing task 2, whichever task you are looking to improve, and simply read out their samples. This is a website which writes a quality content, so you can expect very good answers, very good level of answers from this website. Go on the website, choose a topic, read their answer. Remember, read their answer. Do not remember it, do not cram it. You simply have to read it. And then practice. What I mean by that is, whatever the topic that you chose to read, simply read the question, read the answer, and then You write it out in your own terms. Just simply write out your answer, pretend this is the exam and you're writing the answer. Write your answer, and then at the end of the day, when you have done it, compare your answer with their answer. The second tip that you can use to improve your writing is read, practice, and compare. What I mean by that is go online and find a good source of IELTS Writing Task 2 and IELTS Writing Task 1. I would recommend a website at this stage as well. It is called IELTSexam.net. People who run this site post a very good quality of content on the website. So go on this site, look for Writing Task 1 and Writing Task 2, choose a topic that you like, and then practice. What I mean by that is write out your answer that you feel like, okay, consider this as an exam, choose a topic, and then write your answer. This way, when you have written your answer, you can compare your answer with their one. The second tip that I would like to recommend is read, practice, and compare. Guys, this is a website that I would like to recommend for this purpose. The quality of content you would find on this website for both Writing Task 1 and Task 2 of general as well as the academic modules is very good. So go on this website, whatever you want to improve, whether it's Writing Task 2 or Writing Task 1, pick out a topic, read their answer, and then practice. What I mean by that is write out your answer on that topic. So consider that this is exam, you have 20 minutes to write your answer. Write out your answer and then compare it with the answer that they have written. In that way, you can yourself analyze, okay, this is the kind of vocabulary they are using and this is what I'm using. This is the kind of sentence formation that they use and this is what I use, and the grammar range of your answer versus their answer. So this is a way that you can get a hand on how good of an answer you are writing at this stage. Guys, at the end of the day, your writing is all about, the writing in your IELTS exam is all about representation. The way you write your answer is equally as important as what your answer is. So do not just think that the ideas are important. The way you represent your ideas is equally as important. Choose good ideas and represent your ideas well. And this is something that will only come about with practice. Read from a good source such as IELTSexam.net and practice. Do it as much as you can, and you don't have to go too far with it. Just one task 1, one task 2. So one single task 1 for one day, one single task 2 for one day, and that's all you need for a continuous month. And at the end of the day, you'll be surprised by the amount of improvement you have made. Okay guys, so this is it for today. If you learned something new from my video, please like and share it for the benefit of others. Subscribe to my channel and keep updated with more videos. And if you're looking for one-on-one Skype classes for IELTS or PT, contact me on my email. I assure you, well, I don't like to brag, but I have a 99% success rate. Pick any of the students that have studied from me and they have either achieved their requirements, achieved their required score, or either they have surpassed their expectation. And I believe that I can do the same for you. I assure you that we will do whatever it takes to get you those band score. So contact me on my email for personal classes. Thanks for watching.